But look, hey, so and one actually we got two more real quick, but go to the next position at running back. And this one was hard for me. I'm not gonna lie, because obviously, this is my favorite position, the one I played all throughout, Little League and high school. We have our two-headed monster, in my opinion, at Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. Hopefully, we're getting Brian Robinson at the beginning of the year to get in a full training camp, a full off season into the regular season. We're hoping he's our bell cow. Gibson has shown that if you get him out on the edge, if you get him in space, this guy can be electric. His hands are elite. Like, I love that, and I'm so eager to see what he does in Bieniemy's offense. But then there's a drop-off. Then you got Jonathan Williams, and shout out to him for getting the time and doing what he did, but he's not the same. And Jarrett Patterson, who, although we loved him, and he was a camp favorite out of Buffalo, he just has not been able to kind of crack the top lineup unless there's been guys injured, or like in the Dallas game when we were really just kind of, playing for the offseason. Where do you think we should go? Like, what should we even look for in this? Or should we even look at this? Like, what do you think, man?
Yeah, well, Ron did address this at the owners' meetings, and he said they're going to need somebody. They're going to need to bring in somebody. He said that Antonio Gibson can play the role of J.D. McKissick, so Gibson will get some of those snaps, which we know he can. And so I think at that point, we probably want to be looking for someone who can take the role of Brian Robinson and be a little bit more of that thumper. There's and from in the last couple of years, what we're kind of finding, it's crazy how running back is so important, yet it's so devalued in the draft. But you're finding you can get guys second, third, fourth, fifth round and be big contributors. Tyler Algier might have been one of, if not the best rookie running back last year. Was he a fifth round pick for the Falcons? Maybe fourth round. He was. So it's like you can still be drafting in that position and get someone who's going to be a major contributor. There's two guys that I thought could be someone to look into in like that fifth round if they're still there. Tank Bigsby out of Auburn. Yep. He's more of like that bell cow. So he's kind of fitting that role of Brian Robinson, beat you up. And then one of the guys that they said is just all around skills. He can run, he can catch, is this guy Miller out of TCU.
Kendre Miller, yeah.
Yeah. So those are kind of the two guys that I was seeing. It's like, all right, maybe if they're able to slip to that. But I'm thinking fifth round, no earlier. Maybe a fourth. Maybe. But I really think we need to use our first 4 picks on guys who can contribute on the field this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the other hard parts, because it is, by the time you're getting to some of these guys down the list, a lot of the big name guys are going to be gone. Like, we're not even looking at the top of the list or anything. But one of the guys I've loved out of Syracuse, Sean Tucker, he's one of those just grinders, one of those guys that just, they depended on him a lot and a lot of their heavy running offense in Syracuse. And he's been putting up numbers. Didn't have the best year a year ago, but 2 years ago, he had second leading rusher and almost 1,500 yards, like that type of guy. So as long as on the same page as Brian Robinson, for me, I kind of want somebody that's kind of similar to an AG that can have the speed, but has a little of Brian Robinson power. From Eastern Carolina, Keaton Mitchell. Yes. I love this guy, man. I love him. And the reason why I equate him to Gibson, because one of the things they say is he's huge in the screen game. He's huge when they getting the ball out to him really quick, which is, surprise, surprise, what Bieniemy loves to do and what is going to try to bring over from Kansas City. So, I've watched him play. I mean, that first week when they played NC State last year, and came a kicker missing an extra point in a field goal away from upsetting NC State. Keaton Mitchell was having a day. Had almost 200 all-purpose yards. You know what I mean? Running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield, blocking, do whatever was necessary. I think we might be able to get him at fifth. I hope people don't see, kind of what we see in him and his kind of sleeper, his hidden talent, his ability. But this is one of those guys that he has speed. He has agility, his quickness, he has hands. He has all those things that you kind of look for, and he can't sit back behind them, but he's a great change of pace. He's a great, when you need a substitution, bring him in there. So that's who I absolutely love. I've been watching him.
Well, and I actually like that guy a lot too. From what I read about him, the thing that may make him fall is the fact that because of his size, that blocking is going to be a big challenge. And if he can't help you on third down and pass protection, then what what threat is he out there if he's one dimensional? But I mean, he's an electric player. Well, the other guy I thought of, and this guy's going to go well before we should be picking a running back, but a dynamic player, like, oh man, this is a luxury weapon here, is Spears out of Tulane.
Yeah.
How fun would he be out on the field there? See what he can do. Give him the ball in space.
That's what stinks. There's so many of these guys in these early rounds where I'm like, dang, man, we should take. But I'm like you. I don't want to get a running. We don't need that. We don't need that. And I don't want to bring in a guy to sit here and be like, hey, you're gonna knock on that door and challenge him for his position. No, I'm glad with what we have. So I want to look down the list. Now you mentioned and talking about NCAA 14, and Alex, I'm glad you're here. We were talking about that, so definitely chime in on your dynasty. You mentioned that you went with Minnesota.
I did. Right? Yes.
Yeah. There's a guy that's been playing at Minnesota. He did get hurt, but he's still been balling. Muhammad Ibrahim.
Yes. And great college player.
Yeah. And we know the type of backs that have come in there. The late, great Marion the Barbarian, Marion Barber was there. They had a two-headed monster over there. Like, they are run the ball, and run it some more. And I love what he brings to the table because he's a bruiser. He's a bigger back, and he's running downhill. So more in the likeness of a Brian Robinson, somewhere where we can take one guy out and bring another guy in, and there's no difference in kind of they're coming at you. That's somebody that I love. Just lost the last game of the regular season. No, you were undefeated too, weren't you, buddy?
Is he? Are you not playing against Michigan? Who are you playing against?
He's playing. He picked up his JMU.
Oh,
yeah. He picked his JMU, and correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't know JMU was in the game.
Well, see, okay, this is
how did you do this?
We'll discuss this. We'll discuss this off camera. But this is where I was talking about where he got the college revamp, where they have a lot of the newer teams in there. Because he was telling me he was playing with JMU, and then they were in working my way up to the road to Michigan. Yeah, they were in, they had moved up. They had, in D1. And he was able to use them. Obviously, they were a 1-star when he first got them, but I think he got up to like a 3 or 4-star now. So, but he was saying that was the last game before the conference championship, and they were 11-0 before that. They played number 24, Florida. And I told him, I said, it's going to be a nail biter, buddy.
Madison, we are the Dukes of JMU.
Let's go. So that's where I'm at running back. Anybody else on your radar?
Nope.
Or is it?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, we're gonna be surprised by whoever we get. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, to be honest, we were surprised by Brian Robinson last year, and
we were.
very happily surprised by that.